What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Eddie Monster here, and we've got another special edition of Eddie's Top 5 for all of you. That's right. This one's a little different. Okay, usually I'm naming my top 5 albums or I don't know, songs or whatever, but today, because I feel like there's been like a resurgence of new metal going all around. Papa Roach was just in my neck of the woods, and it just dawned upon me, hey, I need to do one of these, so why not? I did my top 5 new metal bands of all time. That's right, top 5. This was kind of not really a hard list, but there are a few bands that I feel like could have been, I don't know, intertwined here and there. But ultimately, I made my list. It's done. I've checked it twice. Now I'm about to present it to all of you because coming in, actually, let's do my honorable mentions first. Okay, these are the bands that did not make the top 5, but they would definitely be top 10, and one of those is Slipknot. As much as I love Slipknot, I haven't really been as huge of a fan of what they've become over the years. I still gravitate to their earlier records, Iowa, the self-titled, Volume 3, things of that nature. Other than that, they've kind of lost me over the years, I think, with the loss of Joey, and it kind of just, I don't know, dragged me another way. Also throw in that list, Mudvayne, honorable mention, and Soulfly. All right, let's get into it. Top 5, okay? Coming in at number 5, this is a band that I respect so much. I've seen them live. I think their live performance is just so energetic and so awesome. They Once Hit You. The first time I ever heard their track, it was
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
That's right, I'm talking about Papa Roach. For Papa Roach, for me, like Infest, Love, Hate, Tragedy, Getting Away with Murder, Metamorphosis, those are the best albums to me, without a doubt. And I think if you want some raw energy and just in your face, Infest is such a great album. Tightrope is one of my favorite tracks off that album.
There is a thin line between what is good and what is
Love, Hate, Tragedy was sort of, you could see the writing on the wall that they were kind of changing a little bit, with tracks like She Loves Me Not and
She loves me not,
Time and Time Again, stuff like that. And then Getting Away with Murder, they kind of changed. And I think it was because at that time, most every band in the new metal genre had to change somehow. You know what I mean? Because they had to change with the times. The Deftones had done it. That's why I'm just going to tell you right now, the Deftones are not on my list because I don't consider them a new metal band. And they don't consider themselves a new metal band, so I'll do them that favor. I'm not having them on this list. But anyways, going on, right? That's enough about Papa Roach, because at number 4, it's probably going to be controversial, right? Because these guys have had such a huge following. They've sold millions of records. They've had mega tours, but they are far from who they used to be nowadays. And that's because they had to deal with a Titanic size loss when vocalist Chester Bennington ultimately passed away after a suicide. I'm talking, of course, about Linkin Park.
It starts with
one thing, I don't know why it doesn't.
I've become so numb. I'm just talking to myself. Ooh.
I get it. A lot of you are going to think they're probably, I don't know, some of you may think they're probably better than a lot of the bands on this list. Obviously opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, including myself, believe me. And I loved the first record. Hybrid Theory was all about it. You know what I mean? I was even all about Meteora, right? But then they kind of lost me after that, and I didn't follow Linkin Park for a very, very long time. It wasn't until One More Light came out that I was sort of back in, and then it's about like a bunch of my friends were about to go see, like they're like, oh, let's go see Linkin Park live, and then that tragedy happened, and it was all over. Linkin Park is back, if you want to call it that, with a new vocalist. I'm all set. All I'm going to say right there about that. But again, Hybrid Theory was huge. I always called Linkin Park the Bon Jovi of nu metal, because Bon Jovi was a huge artist throughout his whole entire career, right? They were hit records no matter what time they came. Same thing with Linkin Park. Hit records no matter what era it was. And they didn't really have to change much of who they were, for sure. This next artist, I feel probably could have been up there. Definitely for me, not number one on my list. They definitely wouldn't be number one. Their live performances were always really fucking insane. I've seen them at so many Ozfests to bear witness to that. Their music at first, I will admit, when I first heard them, I thought they were a joke. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't until Toxicity came out that I was like, oh, who is this? And of course, if you guessed it, I'm talking about System of a Down. Believe me, I respect the hell out of these guys. The self-titled record, I love these days. Although at first, when I first heard Sugar, I was like, I don't know if I like this, because it felt gimmicky, right? Like every band had sort of that gimmick that they were adding to their music. Disturbed being one of those with that, that stupid ass thing that they do. And then for me, System of a Down was but whatever. Anyways, you get it. But again, Toxicity came out, and I instantly understood. That moment, I was like, I get it now, right? And sometimes it takes that, But their live performances combined with their releases like Mesmerize and Hypnotize.
I don't think you trust in such a lonely day, and it's
Dude, I'm 100% sold on System of a Down. That's why they're number 3 on my list. This next artist, I'll never forget the first time I ever saw them, because I wasn't a fan of theirs either. Although, not on purpose. I didn't know who they were before that Ozfest. And I'm talking Ozfest 1998. The infamous toilet bowl. The infamous fellatio scene that happened with the lead singer of Snotland Straight.
See this head on top of a head walking up the stairs, and I'm like, wow.
That's right. I'm talking about the Limp Bizkit, Limp Bizkit. You knew I was going to go there with that one.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody. This time I'ma let it all come out. This time I'ma stand.
I don't know what else to say. I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan. Huge, right? Donald Trump would say it'd be like huge. But no, I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan, to the point that I had a red baseball cap. It wasn't a Yankees cap, it was the LB cap, but I had a red baseball cap. And forgive me, it was 2001, 2002. The hell do you want me to do? But their live performances, dude. If they didn't sell you on that alone, I don't know what. Because they are electrifying everywhere they go. Their performances, I don't understand how they do it, but you ever seen it? It's like the waters are calm, and then as soon as the event happens, it's like boom. It's like these waves of just energy, just fucking up and down. It's fucking insane. I don't know how they do it, but they are probably one of the greatest nu metal bands. That's why I have them at number 2 on my list, right? Can't beat $3 Bill. That's probably one of the most rawest records, and still, to this day, one of my favorite Limp Bizkit records is still $3 Bill. I know Significant Other is right after it, and I know people are going to say, well, what about Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water? And, you know, results may vary, and new old songs, and whatever, you know, we could spit these out all day. But, man, $3 Bill was so good. It was so raw. The energy in it was so different. But obviously, Significant Other was a game changer. Break Stuff, it's one of the greatest songs to hear live. That's all I'm saying right there. So there you go. Limp Bizkit number 2. One of my favorite bands. The band at number 1 is a band that I think I've told this story before. I think I have. One of my best friends, I think I told this during the Korn Top 5. But anyways, one of my best friends who passed away, I'll never forget, he came into school. This was like 1995. I want to say 94-ish, 95. He came into school and he was like, dude, you got to listen to this fucking record. And I was like, what is it? He goes, it's this band Korn. And I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. You know what I mean? I was like, Korn? What kind of a band calls themselves Korn? Right? I might as well put the graphic. There you go, Korn. And I remember listening to it and thinking, this is so different. But I don't know if I can dig it. You know what I mean? But Blind was, you know, hearing that build-up. You know, that stuff was just... And then the energy when it explodes after he says, "Are you ready?" What an album opener, for sure. But yeah, I mean, go over the years. I mean, such amazing. They're another one. But their catalog, to me, is fantastic. There's not one record that I hate from this band. Not one.
No, your name, so what? Why are you trying to make fun of me? You think it's funny? Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost.
Jonathan Davis is still one of my favorite vocalists. To me, he is an icon. And the other day, people raised this question. Why isn't Korn... This is why Korn and bands like Korn and System of a Down and so on and so forth should be playing stadiums. Because if you saw the energy that they brought to some of those stadium shows, it's nuts. And Korn is one of those bands that has consistently been there since day one. There's never been a lag ever in that band's career. That's fucking amazing, right? They are like the Metallica, the Motley Crue, the whatever you want to call of the nu metal genre. They are the kings of nu metal for sure. I mean, albums like the self-titled, Life is Peachy, It's On, Issues, Untouchables, which is masterpiece in my opinion. And even Take a Look in the Mirror. Such an underrated record itself. Untitled, which is an album that I actually enjoy. It was a different version of Korn. But, again, whatever. These guys is a reason why they're number 1 on my list. That's all I'm going to say from here on out. Go and check out these bands. There you go. My top 5. Papa Roach at 5. System of a Down at 4. Linkin Park at 4. System of a Down at 3. Limp Bizkit at 2. And the mighty Korn at number 1. Stay metal, everybody.